Hello, beautiful friends. I hope you're having an amazing day. I was just thinking about this all day. Keeps coming back up, so I want to share it and I hope it's helpful. How to stop torturing yourself. I think that's a big part of the conditioning that we are in and we're coming out of is this crazy self-torture. And this can include so many things. It's basically just, something happens, or maybe nothing even happens, but usually it's caused by something or it's triggered by something, and then it sets into motion this these a lot of times it's so automatic that you have to really be aware and watch and catch these programs and these thoughts and these beliefs or emotions that kick in, and immediately you start torturing yourself. And what do I mean by this? I just mean like exactly what it is like, so if something happens, that's one thing, a circumstance is one thing, but then to spiral into these sort of thoughts about why did this happen? I'm never good enough. This always happens. This keeps happening. It's this person's fault. It's all my fault. I'm such a loser. You know, or whatever the thoughts are. All these stories are meaningless unless you assign them meaning and you believe in them. And that's just something I found again and again and again, to the point where now it's like I don't even really listen to them. Obviously I'm human, sometimes I'm still challenged, but for the most part, like I can see how through this practice I've really stopped torturing myself to such a large degree, and so I'm able to be in life in such a more, I feel like, free, light way. Because even if something happens, often things that happen, it feels out of our control, or it is out of our control. It's like I know that, like, I just have to deal with this situation, and I'm gonna deal with this situation one way or another. I'm gonna deal with it. So why am I gonna sit here and ruminate and worry and torture myself over and over and over again? That's not gonna accomplish anything. There's almost a part of us, I feel like, when we're not realizing we're doing this, that's getting something out of this, that also thinks, well, if I don't torture myself, I'll never be okay. If I don't torture myself, if I don't beat myself up, if I don't, like, constantly run through, like, what a horrible person I am, or how lazy I am, or how horrible this other person is, or whatever, if I don't constantly run that through my head and let it just get me down, then how am I going to fix it? You don't have to do that, at least in my experience. I certainly don't. And in fact, I find that the more gentle I am, the more loving I am, the more compassionate and patient and faithful I am with myself, the more I'm able to flow through everything and just handle things so much easier. I don't have to sit here and torture myself over things, and with things that are really triggering, just again, practice through practice, learning how to feel it, not suppressing the emotion around it. I feel the anger, I feel the grief, I feel the sadness, or whatever it is. um I just, I know well enough how to feel it, how to move it, how to process it in the moment. And then beyond that, it's like I'm not going to dwell in it. Once I feel intuitively that, okay, I've felt this through, I've seen it through, I've seen what it's teaching me, I've felt all that negative energy, I've allowed it to sort of like purge out of me, not through having to purge on someone else, but like just through feeling it, or exercise or art or something, just meditation. I've sat through it enough. um, and the more you practice this, the kind of faster it becomes, depending on what it is. And then it's like, okay, I'm not going to dwell in this. I'm not going to sit here and ruminate in this. I'm not going to sit here and make a false self out of this. I'm not going to sit here and make an identity out of this for the next few days, for the next few weeks, for the next year. It's like, okay, keep it moving. The last thing I'll say, because I'll keep this short, because it's really a simple thing, is just stop torturing yourself. Most of your suffering is coming from torturing yourself. It's not coming from the circumstance. The more we go on this journey, at least in my experience, the more it's like And a lot of it is a practice. It really is having to actually practice this. I don't think we just wake up like this. If you do, then that's amazing. But for most of us, I think we have to practice this like any skill. It's a divine skill of through these experiences. It's like we're not controlled by our circumstances because we're rooted in who we really are. We remember who we really are now. Nothing can deprive you of God. Nothing can deprive you of what you really are. Nothing. And so you start to kind of have just the energy and the strength and the firmness to just do whatever you need to do. It's not about disassociating. It's a balance. It's a middle path, like everything. It's like you're gonna flow with whatever you need to do, whatever action you need to take, because we're always taking action anyways. Even not taking action is an action. You're gonna flow and do whatever you need to do and handle it, because if you look back, you've always handled everything in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here. Something's gonna happen. You're gonna handle it. Something's gonna move. You're not like ruined forever. It's not like that. That's the mind's trap. So you're gonna move through it. You're gonna take action. You're still taking ownership for yourself and responsibility for yourself lovingly. You can do both, without this. You don't have to have this brutal, like, brooding, like, I just see it so much. But also realizing that, it's not really you. You're truly eternal. You have everything you need. And in those moments when you feel like you don't have everything you need, just learning and practicing moving through them, because they're temporary and they'll pass, and there'll come another moment where you will know what to do. It's just stop entertaining the self-torture at all costs. Just stop it. It's like when I see other people doing it now, I can almost, I don't know, it's like it's like little demons whispering in their ears. And again, you can take that literally or metaphorically or both, depending on the situation, but that's really, just to give a clear example, what it looks like. When I hear people expressing the thoughts that they're having when they're torturing themselves about something that they're upset about, again, it's okay to be upset about something, but then catch the thoughts. It's like it ruminates. It's like, it's always been like this. This keeps happening. Da, da, da. You know what I mean? It's like something's whispering in your ear these things to just try to feed off of your anguish. It's just like, no. For me, it's like when I'm upset, the last thing I'm concerned with is what my thoughts are, truly. It's like I'm gonna sit here, move the energy through me, realize whatever I need to learn, take responsibility for myself and my reality, the best I can. I'm not perfect, but the best I can. And then, at that point, I'm gonna go do something to kind of raise my vibration, I guess. I'm gonna go work out, I'm gonna go play guitar, I'm gonna go sit in nature, I'm gonna go pet my cat. I'm gonna do something to raise myself up, so that way I can continue to respond to the circumstance in a way that's like aligned with my integrity. Just a side note, I notice this all the time. It's like when people try to like come at circumstances and these like really like discombobulated energies, it really doesn't work out well. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but for the most part, when you have the opportunity to kind of process what it is, come back to a neutral state, and then handle it, it's probably going to work out a lot better, a lot smoother. I feel like that's part of flow. You're just flowing with it, versus when you're just so in this like self-torturing method. It's like you're not able to think clearly. You're really not. You're almost better off not trying to do anything until you come back to a neutral state, and then do it if you can. So yeah, last thing I'll say on this, because it's kind of funny. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this meme. Probably not. I don't know. I'm like a meme nerd, I guess. We all are, really, on the internet here. But I don't know. It was something like, I saw this years ago, but it came up in my mind while I was talking about this, about how, when you talking to your spirit guides, a spirit guide is like, I know you're going through a lot right now, but just know you brought this all on yourself, or something like that. And obviously I wouldn't tell anyone that. That's pretty insensitive. But sometimes I'm in these circumstances where like I'm seeing somebody else do what I used to do, which is ruminate in that self-torture. And I don't say that to them because that's really insensitive unless they asked me. Um, but it kind of feels like that. I'm like, damn, this is probably how like a spirit guide would feel, like looking at me, like looking at, because even, and I'm not blaming you for your circumstances, because a lot of times things happen that do feel out of our control, or maybe they truly are beyond our control. But that's really not, again, like that's painful sometimes, but that's not really suffering, in my opinion. It's like suffering is really that self torture. When, if you ever, it's always easier to see in other people than yourself, a lot of times, but you can probably see other people doing it as well, and yourself. It's most important to see it in yourself, but it's easier to see it in others. Um, Getting in these loops, getting in these stories, when something happens, it's like this like program like will kick in, and like you can just see how these ruminations, these thoughts, these self-torturing thoughts of just, they're really dead ends. That's the thing about the self-torture. All these thoughts are dead ends. They're meaningless. They're absolutely meaningless. But there's that part of you that wants to grab onto them because, I don't know, probably several reasons. Maybe it's a way of avoiding genuine accountability for your energy. A lot of times it's automatic. We don't even know we're doing it. It's literally program conditioning that we've learned from others. It's sort of a new thing to like not be controlled by your mind. So it's like we're literally breaking out of that paradigm of self torture. And it's so amazing when you do that. Honestly, your life improves so much because, again, whatever the circumstances are, we're all human. We're walking in a duality realm. You're going to come up against contrast, and things that maybe you don't like, or things that are even like excruciatingly challenging. But at least don't torture yourself about it, because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do about it anyways. Why sit here and constantly harm your own heart, hurt your own mind, stress your own body out? Easier said than done, I know, but it's just something to think about and have awareness of. Are you torturing yourself? If you're finding yourself in a suffering state, that's an alert that, like, hey, like, am I torturing myself? Like, what's going on here? It's kind of an alert to wake up and do what you need to do intuitively to handle the situation, and also be gentle and loving with yourself. And you can still be gentle and loving and firm and focused. You can have both. You don't have to be torturing yourself to get shit done. It's all in the mind. These are all just mind games. um so just some food for thought. It's so beautiful, I think, when you stop torturing yourself, you stop going down those rabbit holes about how you're not, these dead end thoughts. You just gotta watch them. I see it so much more clearly than I've ever seen it. I hope this is crystal clear again. I just want to make it really clear, because I know that we are all going to be so much more empowered when we stop torturing ourselves. It makes us so much more powerful, so much more able to flow, so much able to like move in this reality, doing the things that we actually want, and get to feel how we really, want to feel and experience, and, naturally help others to do the same. So much love to you all. Thank you for being here. I hope this is helpful. It just goes along the lines again of watching your thoughts. There's no idle thoughts. Stop those loops. Pull your power back. Come back to the present moment. Process whatever you need to truly process. And then when that's, when you feel like that's good, just relax. Go do something to raise your, as silly a new age as that